The Quran says if you're in doubt about it, bring a book like it. 1400 years, nobody did that. Now I'm going to digress just for a minute and let you think. I have visited on many campuses throughout the United States and Canada, and in Mexico, and in Pakistan, Egypt, and in Turkey. I've been around the world, alhamdulillah. Coming here is a great experience for me here in India, and I thank Allah for that. And I'm telling you that everywhere I went, I asked people the same questions. Everywhere I asked about the subject of revelation, I got the same answers. The Quran is still existing in the original language of Quran. The language of recitation in which it came, Lagu Arabiya, is there. It exists. Today people still speak it. They still understand it. Bait, house. Batta, duck. Yom, day. All of these things are known. It's right there. It's easy. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to appreciate the Quran. But if you are a rocket scientist, then the knowledge that you have for going into outer space was there 1400 years ago. And while we're on the subject of science and scientists, it was Muslim scientists 1,000 years ago that offered us the testable way to find out what is true. Who are the ones who came up with the idea of testable evidence in the first place? If it wasn't Imam Bukhari, rahmatullahi alayhi, who was it? Test the evidence before you put it down. Did he do that? Yes or no? Test the evidence. The evidence used in Scotland Yard uses the same premise that was set out by our great Imams 12 to 1300 years ago. The same way they rate you on the internet to determine your credit worthiness on eBay is based on the same premise that these scholars use to test the rawaya, the chain of narrators, to show us which hadith are real and which ones aren't. The ijazah of Quran is an evidence in itself of what? The science of testable evidence. And you never had a university whatsoever like you have today until you copied it from the universities in Spain when it was under Muslim rule. And you never even knew what a university like this was until you visited Iraq and saw them there. And when you visited Cairo and saw what's still today the oldest university still operating on earth, Al-Azhar. Alhamdulillah, Allah let me go there and be there and sit with the ulama. And when I'm going to use the word ulama, say ulama, ulama. A person who has knowledge is a alim, alim, right? And what do you call somebody who graduates from a university if you don't call him a what? Somebody graduates, he's a alumni. From what word? Oops. Oops. Now you know. And they still wear the long black robe. No, it's not Latin, it's Arabic. Alumni, from alim. And the long black robe. Where did it come from? And go to Turkey right now and watch the imams. When they're going to lead salat, they go in their little cubby hole and get their little cap and put it on. Then he gets his black robe and he's wearing the same one they're wearing today in universities. Because they're copying the way of the scholars of Islam 1,000 years ago. If you want to talk to me about testable evidence, we'll talk all day long, as far back as you want to go. Sir, do you know anything about algebra? Of course I do. Good. What does it mean? Well, it's the science of using a number that's represented, it's an unknown number represented by a letter. Who thought it up? I don't know. Algebra. It's Arabic. It came from the Muslim scientists. What about the numbering system? Isn't it called the Arabic numbering system? And who thought it up? Who came up with a zero? The Muslim scientists right here in India. Only they called it Arabic because they didn't want to call them Muslim. So they said anybody became Arabicized. They didn't want to say they became Muslim. And how do you account for the fact that every single one of these evidences here is irrefutable and there's no mistakes in this book? How? Go ahead. Show me.